No, Drew's on vacation, so you can sit in my seat.
Who's gonna make the motion?
Oh yeah, who's gonna make the motion?
I want Joe, he has glasses.
Make the motion.
Will you make the
Oh,
motion?
sure.
Because I can't read them.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's off the record, Joe.
That was totally not true.
Yeah.
Good afternoon and welcome to the September 26, 2017 License Board meeting. We have a 4-member board this evening. Drew Shealy, the Health Commissioner, will not be sitting. To my left, I have Chief Paul Keenan, Clerk Nicole Crispo, and Fire Chief Aaron to my right. We have 7 items on the agenda. I'm going to take one out of order. Agenda number 2. Hearing regarding the request of the Beechwood Knoll Elementary School for a special use permit for the Fall Festival to be held Saturday, October 28th. Is the applicant here?
Hi,
Hi.
how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
So what are we planning on doing?
So it's our 20th year, it's our Fall Festival. It's our one-time fundraiser that we do every year. It's a crazy day, it's so fun. But it has food, it has, we have carnival rides. We have an attendance truck this year, there's a silent auction. So it's a huge event for the city. It's on October 28th, it's rain or shine.
Are you Robin Franciscini?
I am,
Just for the record.
No alcohol, just,
no.
Till after.
What's that?
Till after.
6:01.
how many people you expect?
It's a couple thousand that comes through.
Wow.
It's pretty big. Yeah, it's like every school kind of coffee dozen per se, but in a good way. This is a good family event for the day. And it's rain or shine, so if it's raining, we go indoors and have mostly everything. I mean, obviously the carnival was canceled. Everything else will pretty much go on as planned.
Okay, so no road closures, everything, you're all
No, it's all
off-site?
Yes.
Anybody from the audience have anything to add or comment? Board members, take a motion or?
Mr. Chairman, so you're going to be cooking?
We are.
In the event so what type of cooking are you doing?
We have clam chowder, we have chicken nuggets, we have meatball subs, and we have pizza. And that's all donated from outside sources.
So you're not grilling?
No, there's no fires or nothing like that.
Okay.
Come on down, it's fun.
Sounds like a simple,
It is, it's a simple event. It's big, but simple.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to grant the request of the Beechwood Knoll Elementary for a special use permit for the Beechwood Knoll Fall Festival to be held Saturday, October 28th at the Beechwood Knoll Elementary School. The event will run from 8 a.m. until 6 p.m. The event will include DJ, games, and food, represented by Ms. Robin Franciscini.
Second? Let us know what you need.
Okay, I appreciate it, thank you.
okay, hearing regarding the request of Beechwood Knoll Elementary for a special use permit for the 20th anniversary Beechwood Knoll Fall Festival to be held Saturday, October 28th, 2017 at the Beechwood Knoll Elementary School. The event will run from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. rain or shine. The event will include DJ, games, and food represented by Ms. Robin Franciscini.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, you all
Thank you
set?
so much, thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Agenda number 1, hearing regarding the request of TD Bank for a special use permit for the grand opening celebration of 2 TD Banks in Quincy, 323 Hancock Street and 476 Southern Artery on Saturday, October 21st. Both events will be held in the parking lots of each bank and will run from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. Tents will be set up on Friday, October 20th. Represented by Paula Warshall.
Thank you. I look like the banker here. Thank you, Director. I appreciate it. My name is Paula Warshall. I work for TD Bank and respectfully requesting licensing for our 2 grand opening celebrations.
Great.
Yeah.
The banks look terrific.
Oh, we can't wait to be here.
Yeah. Are you already open yet, or?
No, we open on the 21st. That will be our first day. But we also have our location at on Adam Street. So we're currently in town.
Tents, how big are the tents?
We have 10 by 10 easy ups.
Okay.
Yep, so a number of those.
Will everything be on the property?
Everything will be
Nothing
on
will spill out in the
property.
street unless there's a parking lot?
Yep, no, it'll be all on property.
Did you advertise the event, or is this stuff people gonna know to come, or?
Yeah, we are going to be advertising it. We have some marketing efforts through social media. We'll be taking out some advertisement in Patriot Ledger, and we're also taking another publication in the area, so we'll just do a little bit of advertising. Most of our advertising will be after the event to keep, the momentum going as we build business.
Gonna be food?
Yeah, yep, we have food trucks.
Yeah,
And one of the
grilled cheese.
locations, yeah, we've got Roxy's grilled cheese
Yeah, they're
lined
good.
up. We have Mozilla, another food truck coming in.
Great. Anybody from the audience have any comments, or anything to add? Board members?
I'd like to just speak in favor, just to say that I got my TD Bank cards right here. But I opened up my campaign account there, and I opened my account there on the Adam Street location,
Yeah.
and they were the friendliest people. It's great to see another bank like that coming to the city, having competition, and I love TD Bank. So,
Isn't it a medical marijuana pen?
which one?
Yeah. I just thank you. That's great. Yeah, I can't wait to call and let them know that you got such great service. That means a lot to us.
They are. No, I
Yeah.
mean, it's just,
They're super friendly, yeah.
beyond friendly.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, just not,
Yeah.
it's just beautiful to have.
Thank you.
Was that your 3rd location in the city then?
This will be third, yeah.
Third?
Yeah. Yeah.
Good.
Great.
Board members?
Well, I spoke with Ms. Warshall about the need to have the food trucks inspected, so
Mhm.
we're going to have that done.
Yeah.
Ready for a motion?
Take a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to grant the request of TD Bank for a special use permit for the grand opening celebration of 2 TD Banks in Quincy, 323 Hancock Street and 476 Southern Artery on Saturday, October 21st. Both events will be held in the parking lot of each bank and will run from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m., represented by Ms. Warshall.
Motion made to grant the request of TD Bank for a special use. All in favor, by the way?
Aye.
Second, aye.
For a special use permit for the grand opening celebration of 2 new TD Banks in Quincy, 323 Hancock Street and 476 Southern Artery on Saturday, October 21st. Any rain day? Rain or
Yep,
shine?
rain or shine.
Both events will be held in parking lots of each bank and will run from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. Tents will be set up on Friday, October 20th, represented by Ms. Paula Washoe. All in favor?
Aye.
You're all set.
Great, thank you,
Very good.
Victor.
Good
Thank you,
luck.
Virgil.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Good luck. Welcome to Quincy.
All right, have a great afternoon.
You too, thank you.
Agenda number 3, the hearing regarding the request of Fright Island LLC for a special use permit, all alcohol for the Ghost Ship at the Quincy Shipyard from September 29th, 2017 through October 31st, 2017. Hours will be Thursday to Sunday, 7 to 11 p.m., midnight on Friday and Saturday, and Wednesday to Monday for the week of Halloween, for a total of 19 days. This item was introduced at the September 19th, 2017 hearing and continued until today, represented by Mr. John Bailey. Good evening.
Good evening. Last we spoke, I needed to do a little outreach with the district city councilor for the request of the board. I've done so, had multiple conversations with Councilor Crowell. So he's supportive of the event and happy to do it. Working through the final logistics there in the shipyard with Mr. Cashman's office as well as NWRA. Some of those issues in the new location for the ship. And then also set up police details and how that's going to work. as well as Mr. Barron's office and, you know, what's gonna happen down there with Boston Fire, Quincy Fire. So I think we're hopefully there.
So you still got some logistical issues to take care of
We're working
between
on,
police, fire?
no, I don't think so much on that. I think with MWRA and Cashman as to where the property line is, because where we're using hasn't been used in years. It was basically rubble and like debris there for years and it hasn't been touched, so there was a question as to whose property it actually was.
There's an eminent domain issue.
Yeah, there's something I think we got kind of honestly caught in the crossfire of that we weren't unaware of, that we weren't sure whose property it actually was there. It's right at the end of the pier. But again, because it hasn't been used, I guess, in multiple years, no one was quite sure as to where the property line was and who's responsible for what.
At that parking area, there's dirt there.
Well, it was rubble, it wasn't even a
Right.
parking area up until 10 days ago.
Okay.
Actually, it was just piles of dirt and stone, probably about 10 feet high, and, you know, old steel and everything else from the shipyard, actually, that's been there, that was removed. And they made a little parking area that's gonna be used, I guess, for the Salem ongoing beyond this event, that will survive this event, that's where they're gonna direct the Salem to park and to utilize for the Salem's activities. But then it came out that that's actually not Cashman's property, even though he cleaned it up and did all the work and the renovations to it, further moved from the MBTA agreement when it was on the other pier. So there's sort of a lot of history from when it went from that pier over to this pier, and what needed to take place as far as getting the utilities hooked up, and Mr. Cashman did all that, but it turns out part of that property, I guess, is actually MWRA property. So that's what we're sorting through now. The rest of the actual logistics.
Excuse me, I'm just having a little trouble hearing you, so,
Sorry.
I'm having a little trouble hearing you, so just.
Okay, I'll speak up. So I think it's just working those, part of the logistics, the rest of everything else, as far as the police fire details, all the same, none of that has changed. You know, everything is the same as in last year, and then with the changes this year, all that remains the same. This was just more of whose property it actually was is what came up. So I think really that's what the big bulk of it is, because it just hasn't been used before. So that's what we're sorting out. And hopefully we got it sorted, talked to NWRA today. We're working out a license agreement for that particular area that I think is theirs. And we'll fill that out and proceed through that process. Hopefully we get it done by Friday.
Will you be having food?
Yes, it'll be a food trailer. Mark Matarazzo, the same person that did it last year, will be applying for the food. Same thing as a food truck, it's just a trailer instead of a truck. That will be showing up, will have it decorated for Halloween and all that. So the same as last year. It's a lot smaller footprint than last year, probably about a third of the size of what it was last year, just because there's not enough real estate there. It's only gonna be one tent that will apply for one 40 by 40 tent. 2 queue lines, a merchandise booth, and then a food trail.
Do you expect more people this year, do you think?
Probably about the same, hopefully.
Yeah.
Right now, sales are down a little bit, but I think that's just because it's getting going. And we may be delayed a couple days because of the setup, so I don't know if we'll get it open. We definitely won't be open for Thursday, so we'll have to drop that off, and probably not till Saturday, actually. I think will be probably the first day.
And have we heard from the city councilor to know if,
I did, I heard from the city councilor today, and he is in favor. And I spoke with Councilor LaForest as well. And she had positive things to say about John and the sale.
I would agree. You made a good presentation, and you did all the right things last year, and I expect it to be a success this year as well. The alcohol area is you're gonna run that the same as you did last year?
It's just smaller, yeah. It's just fully contained, smaller. You can't go on until after the ship. Can't take anything out off the site. Working out the parking is different, you know, this year, obviously, getting in and out of the site. But yeah, it's basically the same event as last year, just a little bit smaller, is what it is.
Anybody from the audience have any comments or anything to add?
And you've set up the payment plan for the detail, you're aware of that, correct?
Yes, sir. I wanted it weekly, so that we pay it every Monday once we get the permit going forward, so all the way through to the end of October.
Now, for this week. Starting this week to be,
Yes, once we.
so it'd be
once we get
in
the
advance,
permit,
not in
yeah,
arrears?
In advance, correct.
Okay.
And we'd also make the same donations that we're doing to the Salem, we basically provide the donation for them to have heating oil for the whole winter. So they will stay there, as well as doing the 2 busloads of kids from Ward 2 and also over House Neck to get kids to go to the ship that wouldn't be able to afford to go to the actual event. So we expanded that this year to include more kids to do it. So.
Board members, anything to add or take a motion?
John, you mentioned the details, so it's the same as last year for the fire department. I'm sure Chief Keenan will, your details will be satisfied as well. I just wanted to mention the tent you would need a permit for. Call fire prevention, 376-1015, there's no charge, just when they set up, and they should inspect the food trailer, which would have propane on it, so that should be looked at as well. There's no charge for that at all. So I believe you have my cell phone. I prefer that you, they're in the office from 8 a.m. till 12 noon, and they inspect usually after, in the afternoon. So if you give them a call, if you run into any issues, call myself.
Thank you, appreciate that.
All set? Yep. I'd like to make a motion to grant the request of Fright Island LLC for a special use permit, all alcohol for the Ghost Ship at Quincy Shipyard from September 29th to October 31st, 2017. Hours will be Thursday through Sunday, 7 to 11 p.m., midnight on Friday and Saturday, Wednesday to Monday for the week of Halloween, for a total of 19 days. This item was introduced at the September 19th meeting, hearing and continued until today's meeting, represented by Mr. John Bailey.
Motion made and seconded.
Second.
Seconded, sorry, Chief. I can use this.
Great
Motion-
minds think alike.
Motion made and seconded to grant the request of Fright Island LLC for a special use permit, all alcohol for the ship, the Ghost Ship at the Quincy Shipyard from September 29th to October 31st, 2017. Hours are Thursday through Sunday, 7 to 11 p.m., midnight on Friday and Saturday, and Wednesday to Monday, 7 to 11 p.m. for the week of Halloween, for a total of 19 days. This item was introduced at the September 19th hearing and continued until today, represented by Mr. John Bailey. All in favor?
Aye.
You're all set. Good luck, and so
Will do. Thank you. Any other questions, by all means, even if after this, feel free to call. I think my cell phone's on there at any time throughout the whole run. If there's any questions with it, the site or any of that, feel free, please come down. We'll scare the ship out of here.
Thank you.
very good. Thank you. Agenda number 4, the hearing regarding the request of Chinese Apitherapy Center, 299 Newport Ave, second floor, number 8, Quincy, for a Bodyworks license. Bodyworks license is for acupressure and Tuina. Proposed manager is Jiangzi Li. Am I pronouncing that right? Close enough, okay. Go ahead, why don't you tell us what you're proposing to do?
So, this is my friend.
Sure, of course.
今天的话，
Would you like to translate?
yeah.
Are you Mr. Lee?
Yeah.
Okay. Why don't you,
Yeah. 今天我想看他，我已经把我的资料交上去了啊，看他能够通过。
So he added some information today.
could you speak up? Yeah, we can.
He added some information today.
Yep.
And he wants to see if it can be passed.
What's the information?
啊，对我的信息的话，是不是我在这里提供？因为他们的资料是不需要我现在在。
Do you need the information? The papers?
So, So you're going to 299 Newport Ave, you're going to be providing acupressure and Tawina. Can you explain what that is?
Chinese traditional medicine.
What is Tawina?
body work. So I don't deserve each body, but needed Chinese medicine to use the body.
Body works.
Body Works?
Yeah, we do body works.
No, we get that. I just, the difference between acupressure and Tawina. I just want to add, they've already been approved by the Board of Health. And they have a state license as well.
No, just under the city.
Oh, just under this, it's just licensed under the city Board of Health, so.
For Body Works.
For Body Works specifically for the two that are represented on the app.
Okay, perfect.
For acupressure and
So then it's just an establishment license and a
Practitioner.
practitioner.
right. So I don't know, I'm just trying to figure out what the Tawina is, but. Are you the person providing the service?
Yes.
Can he explain what Tawina is? I was just curious.
You should get that.
Just I'm sorry.
Tawina, what is Tawina? It's just Body Works.
So yes, it is body work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just for the record, we have a letter here from the Quincy Health Department. Cindy DeCristofaro, Chief Sanitarian for the city. Please be advised that our department has completed its review of the bodywork application for Changzi Li, practitioner and Chinese Apitherapy Center establishment. We have deemed the application to be complete for Mr. Li as a bodywork practitioner for acupressure and Tawina only. He did not provide education training for shiatsu and is restricted from practicing it in Quincy. The application for the establishment, Chinese Apitherapy Center, is deemed to be complete. Therefore, we have deemed the applications of Mr. Li and Chinese Apitherapy Center to be eligible for a license board hearing. Anybody in the audience have anything, any comments, board members? All right, well, it seems you've already got your license from the Board of Health. We have a complete application. Facility's been inspected by Paul Martin in the Health Department. Well, obviously gone through the Health Department. We have a complete application, you duly licensed, so I think we'll just, unless the board members have anything to add, I'll ask for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to grant the request of Wellness Club 278 Center Street, Quincy.
Number 4.
You're on 4. To request of the Chinese Apitherapy Center, 299 Newport Ave, second floor, unit number 8, for a Bodyworks license for acupressure in Tawina. Proposed manager is Changzi Li.
Second?
Motion made and seconded to grant the request of the Chinese Apitherapy Center, 299 Newport Ave, second floor, number 8, Quincy, for a Bodyworks license. Bodyworks license is for acupressure and Tawina. Proposed manager is Changzi Li, represented by Changzi Li. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then the
You're all-
establishment license.
Oh, yeah, we need to do two votes, correct. That was for the establishment license. We'll take another motion for practitioner license. Please.
Is that on the same agenda?
Same agenda. This is gonna be for the practitioner license. Same.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to grant the request of Chinese Apitherapy Center, 299 Newport Ave, second floor, unit 8, for a practitioner license, and that's proposed by Chang Z. Lee.
Second?
Motion made and seconded to grant the request of Chinese Apitherapy Center, 299 Newport Ave, second floor, number 8, Quincy, for a practitioner license. Licenses for acupressure in Tolina. Manager is Chang Z. Lee, represented by Chang Z. Lee. All in favor?
Aye.
You're approved, and good luck, and
All set.
all set.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
Two votes.
Same this one?
Agenda number 5, the hearing regarding the request of Wellness Club, 278 Center Street, Quincy, for a Bodyworks license. Bodyworks license is for reflexology only. Proposed manager is Zhang Ling Li, represented by Zhang Ling Li. Why don't you just explain a little bit about your operation?
It's basically in the scope of, okay, it's basically in the scope of body work, specifically the reflexology. The reflexology is like manicure the pressure points, or we call this like reflex, for example, maybe your hand and then reflex your brain or your heart system, like a kind of relaxing the surgeries, yeah.
Okay. How long you been practicing?
A very long time. She had been doing in China for a long time, and she just moved here and learn at the school and practice this area.
I did have one question. I didn't ask the other applicants, but what are the hours of operation? What are your business hours?
Business hours. 10 to 9.
10 to 9 every day?
Yes, so far it is. Maybe more earlier close,
Maybe 7,
What's that?
maybe 7.
but not.
Seven.
Sunday.
Sunday.
Yeah.
Anybody from the audience have any comments or anything to add? Board members?
That's it. Ready for a motion?
Yeah, we're gonna need 2 motions again, one for the establishment, one for the practitioner license.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to grant the request of Wellness Club, 278 Center Street, Quincy, for a Bodyworks license. Bodyworks licenses for reflexology only. The proposed manager is Zhang Ling Li.
Second?
Motion made and seconded to grant the request of Wellness Club, 278 Center Street, Quincy, for a Bodyworks license for practitioner. Bodyworks license is for reflexology only. Proposed manager is Zhang Ling Li, represented by Zhang Ling Li. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion,
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to grant the request of Wellness Club, 278 Center Street, Quincy, for a practitioner license. The proposed manager again is Zhang Ling Li.
Second?
motion made and seconded to grant the request of Wellness Club, 278 Center Street, Quincy, for an establishment license. Establishment is for reflexology only. Proposed manager is Yang Ling Li, represented by Zhang Ling Li. All in favor?
Aye.
You're all set? Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. she forgot to submit $100.
Yep, so she has to come in to do her business certificate if she wants to bring it at that time upstairs. That's
Upstairs,
fine.
so
Yep,
when she do the business certificate?
yep, upstairs when she comes in.
Oh.
Yeah, tomorrow is
Tomorrow.
fine. Yeah,
Okay,
that's
thank
perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Agenda number 6, the hearing regarding the request from Eminine LLC DBA Triumph, Matthew Freed, manager for a transfer of license, change of corporate name, change of manager, and new officer director for the premises located at 1464 through 1466 Hancock Street, Quincy, represented by Mr. Matthew Freed. Am I pronouncing that right?
David Paratori, representing.
David,
I submitted the application.
how do you spell that?
Paratori, Paratore. Excuse me.
Okay, David.
So Mr. Freed is proposing to purchase the assets and license from what was previously the Clash of Ash, if I'm not mistaken, and into a new LLC, I Me Mine LLC, and Triumph will be the name of the restaurant. The proposal is for a casual dining New American cuisine with a full liquor license. I have proposed floor plan, but we don't have access to the space just yet until the license transfer is complete, so this pending approval from building, etc. However, it's the capacity being the same as what it was previously, providing that that's approved as well.
Do we know what the capacity was?
The capacity was 200 for the previous license, and his architect created a layout that matches that capacity.
Are you proposing to reconfigure the space or do some work in the space?
It's going to be cosmetic work only, no structural work to be completed, and they're going to be presenting those plans for approval from the building department. That's my belief.
So
we don't have actual access. The current owners of the license have the rights to the space until the transfer is complete, so we can't get into actually beginning any of that until the license is completed.
So prior to anything going on, you'll be getting a building permit and approval from the fire department?
Absolutely, we will need I'm sure, we haven't had a chance to get our Ansel guys in to check the system, make sure the hood is properly cleaned. We have to do all of that beforehand.
I just have a question for the board members. Didn't we revoke that license? I know it was contentious, it was back and forth, we've gone a couple of different ways, but I thought at the end of the day, wasn't that license revoked?
I'm not sure.
If I may,
Hopefully
secondarily, but I spoke to Chairman Shealy about this a while back. When the license was proposed for sale, our guys went in to go take a look at it. We did a little bit of a background check on the space, and we understand that there were quite a few issues there. They weren't operating as a restaurant, they were operating, if I'm not mistaken, as a nightclub with underage issues, all sorts of problems going on in there. But we were assured by their counsel that the license was still actively held by them, but they couldn't operate it, and that they had to sell it. And that somebody else needed to be approved for operation, was my understanding.
Okay. Yeah, you probably have a clearer picture because that establishment was back in front of us a dozen times at least.
I heard it was fairly contentious, but it's Lou Cassis, if I'm not mistaken, represents the Clash of Ash. I've spoken to him on a number of occasions, and he suggested that the license is...
As far as I understood it, was that it was, we were gonna go in for a hearing, and then that hearing got postponed because they potentially had a buyer.
My recollection is the same,
Okay.
and it was going on, and Louis Cassis was proposing that he couldn't do anything because he couldn't find somebody to transfer the license to, and and then we were getting tired of that routine, and then finally we said, you know what, find somebody, or we're just gonna go to the ABC. But I think that's why you're here today. This is the final act.
Sure, I don't know how long, I don't know how long the process was going before.
It's been quite some time.
Yeah, I got the impression that there's been some issues there for quite some time. That's why, so I have copies of the potential floor plan as well as menus, if I may approach.
We were gonna take the license, and Cassis kept asking us to postpone it until he could find a buyer, and that never happened, so.
I thought at one point that you had taken a vote, that could probably be wrong.
Yeah, I could be, but I don't know that we,
I just spoke with the chairman, and he said that when we revoked it the first time, we were going for a hearing, and the second time, we asked them to stay closed, but that they still had ownership. And so that's where it stands until they were getting a new owner.
are you counsel?
I am, yes. So that's, I have copies of potential menu as well as potential floor plan.
What'd you say, you the owner or you?
No, so Mr. Freed is gonna be the owner. He's got a pretty long history of restaurant management, both here in Massachusetts as well as previously in Pennsylvania. It's been all restaurant work, not nightclub work. He has no intention of operating it as a nightclub. He does intend to use the full capacity of the license and service food late and things like that, but as you can see from the menu, it's all new American cuisine. If I may approach, I have copies for everybody. So it's new American cuisine, and then the second page is the potential floor plan, pending on this approval.
Thank you.
I just want to caution you on, it's been my experience, a lot of times what the license board has for a occupant load is not the same as what is on the,
Absolutely. My understanding is that all of the documents that they provided to us at any rate, but I've only got what was provided to us by Mr. Cassis, all matched at that number, but obviously, like I said, he's got an active architect that's working with him for the design, so if they get to building and for some reason there's some sort of a concern, then we'll adjust accordingly and make sure that it fits any of your required codes.
fine, thank you. So I don't think we'll put a number on it today. I don't know if we can do that, but we'll think about how we handle that.
Sure. I was expecting that since we weren't able to provide access for the Ansel system and such yet, that we would have some holdbacks as far as the fire.
It may very well end up being,
things along those lines.
may very well end up being 200, but
Sure.
we'll wait and see how that goes.
So are you just purchasing
Assets and license. We're going to go in and we're going to go. From what I understand, and again, I have not had any access to the space as of yet, but Mr. Freed has. Is that the interior is. There really is nothing, and except for an enormous amount of liability, from what I understand from purchasing the business. So it's just an asset purchase. It's just license and some kitchen equipment, and we're hoping they take everything else with them when they leave.
And the gentleman you represent, where has he got history as far
I
as?
have a copy of his resume as well for everybody who likes him. He's worked locations that you may be more familiar with, that he's worked at Capo in Boston, as well as MJ Curley's. He's the Beehive. He's worked there as in a management capacity in the past. His resume is fairly extensive as far as restaurant work is considered.
and he has a purchase and sale from,
Yes, we provided that to with the application as well. Yeah, purchase and sale agreement for the assets, including the liquor license and majority of the building contents, as well as we have a lease agreement for the space that
from the
start
owner.
date is within 10 days of the approval of the license transfer. Since we didn't know when our granted date would be for a year.
Do we know what the hours of operation proposal?
At this point, I believe that he's planning to be open for lunch through dinner hours, so I'm guessing that he's going to be starting at 11:30 in the morning and going through until 1 a.m. with food service throughout.
7 days?
Yes, sir.
Does anybody from the audience have anything, any comments or anything?
I would like to make a comment. Can I make a comment? At the meetings that were before, okay, I believe he did revoke that license, okay? And I believe from my memory that there's more downtown licenses right now for the thing. And so like that license is gone, okay? And it sets a horrible precedent, I think. I think that they should just get one of the new downtown licenses that are available. And that is a free and open license. I mean, I mean, they can still open up their business. It isn't gonna change anything. you
John,
know.
the ABCC never made a decision. They postponed their, the hearing.
But it would just
And
leave
then-
that license open, so let's say someone else wants to open up in another part of the city. There are licenses up there.
Right.
You know
But
what I'm saying?
That's not up to us. We can't decide who's gonna buy their license.
No, but if you issued them a new license, there wouldn't be anyone that
That's
could,
up to them.
that could say.
That's up to the buyer, you know, to,
Well, if we would revoke it, it'd be a new license for them anyway, so it really doesn't matter what the license.
I just think it would be better to give them one of those extra Quincy City licenses right now, because it sounds like a good business, give it to a good operator, so therefore we don't have, you know, a bad operator come in and use one of those licenses up, you know, and, because I know for a fact, we just transferred one of those at the last meeting, a full license, to the, to karaoke bar. You know what I'm saying? So I haven't really kept track. I just know for sure that I heard that there are no more all alcohol licenses in Quincy. Okay, and so, you know, unless this one's still floating around or whatever, I just think it would be best to give him one of those old, active ones that were from before. But either way, like I said, it's not like I'm opposed, I think something should go in there. I wish you luck, it's tough up Quincy Center right now.
Let me answer the question too about Sunday morning. Do you plan on doing the Sunday morning thing with mimosas and brunch or anything like that?
At this point, there's no menu draft for a brunch hour. And I think that he'd like to be able to feel out how the business functions in that neighborhood. You know, at this point, he's been doing some research as to what other, you know, what competition there are in a similar style to what he's doing and trying to figure out what his key hours are going to be. You know, as I represent a fair number of locations throughout the state, and for most of them, the proposed hours are based on when they'd like to be operating. If he finds that Sunday mornings are providing business for him, then by all means, I think he intends to do that. I think the concern at this point is just that he doesn't want to stretch himself hours-wise too far. But he plans on being a full-service restaurant at all available hours.
is there any other triumphs, or is this the?
As far as I know, we did an appropriate background asset check on every location in the city that should have a similar name, and this is his only location with this name.
Okay, that's my question.
Yeah, but we had another name selected previously before the applications went in that was approved by state, and then came back to us and said they found somebody operating similarly that didn't come up in the state check originally. So as far as we know, it hasn't pinged back with another one.
Do you know how long it's gonna take to do your build-up?
The expectation is, since it's cosmetic, would be less than 2 months. However, I imagine we're going to be at the discretion of building for how quickly they can approve permits and approve the design and layout. But again, since it is cosmetic and there's no structural issue there, I think our biggest delay will probably be the manufacturing of furniture.
And what is the name of the LLC?
I, me, mine. Originally, I mean mine is what it stands for. His great grandfather was apparently a rum runner 100 years ago or something like that. So he intended to call the LLC Rum Runners, and as a matter of fact, it was approved by the state. That's what we were talking about. It was approved by the state, and then they rescinded and said that there was a company out on the Cape called Rum Runners that we thought had been dissolved, but apparently they revived it, and so they contacted us and said that he couldn't. That wasn't going to be the name of the location. It was going to be the name of the LLC. So once we were submitting applications, he had about 24 hours to give me a new name. And he's apparently a Beatles fan, and there's an abstract song called "I Me Mine."
I mean,
Yeah. So that's what that word means. It took me a few minutes to figure it out once he said it to me.
It's tough to pronounce as one word.
Yes. I took a minute myself. I had to Google it.
no, my sister was.
Ready for a motion?
Yes, I'll take a motion. If anything else, board members?
We're gonna need 3, right, or 4?
4.
Okay.
We're gonna need 4 motions, chief.
4.
Yeah, transfer of license, change of corporate name, change of manager, and new officer director.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to grant the request of I Me Mine LLC doing business as Triumph. Matthew Freed, manager, for the
Transfer license? Is that the first one?
for the transfer of license, represented by David Parator.
Second?
Motion made and seconded to grant the request of ID Mine LLC DBA Triumph, Matthew Freed, manager, for a transfer of license located premises at 1464, 1466 Hancock Street, Quincy, represented by David Paratori, hours of operation 11 to 1 a.m. All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to grant the request of I Mean Mine LLC, doing business as Triumph, Matthew Freed, manager, for the change of corporate name. Premises located at 1464 to 1466 Hancock Street.
Second?
Motion made and seconded to grant the request of ID Mine LLC DBA Triumph, Matthew Freed, manager, for a change of corporate name for the premises located at 1464, 1466 Hancock Street in Quincy, represented by David Paratori. All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to grant the request of I Mean Mine LLC, doing business as Triumph, Matthew Freed, manager, for the change of manager, located at 1464, 1466 Hancock Street, Quincy.
Second?
Motion made and seconded to grant the request of ID Mine LLC DBA Triumph, Matthew Freed, manager, for a change of manager for the premises located at 1464 through 1466 Hancock Street in Quincy, represented by David Paratori. All in favor?
Aye.
So we need one more motion, and that's for...
New officer and director.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to grant the request of I Mean Mine LLC, doing business as Triumph, Matthew Freed, manager, for new officer and director of the premises located at 1464, 1466 Hancock Street, and all of these are, the hours are open daily, 11:30 to 1 p.m., and the occupancy load will be determined later.
Second?
Motion made and seconded to grant the request of ID Mine LLC DBA Triumph, Matthew Freed, manager, for a new officer director for the premises located at 1464, 1466 Hancock Street, Quincy. Hours of operation are 11 to 1 a.m. Occupant load to be determined later time, represented by David Paratori. All in favor?
Aye.
I think you're all set.
Thank you, folks.
Appreciate it.
Have a great day.
You too. Agenda number 7, hearing regarding the request of Longtron Garden, Inc., doing business as Longtron Garden, 47 Billings Road, Quincy, for a transfer of stock, new officer director, and new stockholder. This item was introduced at the September 19th hearing and continued until today. Mr. Christopher Coleman, representing.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I'm Chris Coleman on behalf of the applicant. What we have right now, there are 4 owners of the restaurant. 3 are going to move on, and another 3 are coming in. The restaurant person, the owner who's staying, happens to also be the manager and the majority owner. Page 5 of the application, actually, I know I'm probably going to butcher a lot of names, so page 5 of the application may really simplify things. The 3 that are moving on, well, let's go with the one who's staying. Mr. Chen is going to stay. Mr. Chen is the manager, and he's going to stay. His current ownership is 25%, so he's going to pick up another 25%, so he'll be the majority over 50%. Well, compared to the others, but it'll be 50%.
It'll be 50%, they'll be 50%.
The other 3 will be 20-20-10, as shown in the application. And the other 3 that are moving in, Mr. Chen, Mr. Lee is actually here with me here. and Mr. Plain. Manager's still the same, hours of operation still the same, everything's still the same. You really won't notice any difference.
Is this the old Quincy Dynasty?
I believe so. 37 buildings.
So this is some paperwork and change of manager, and pretty much paperwork.
Exactly, yeah, you really won't notice any difference in operation. The fellows coming in have no criminal background at all good. All of us.
Okay, we have a full application, everything's in order. Anybody from the building, fire been there?
No, I have that application that I spoke to your paralegal for our local app, that while this is at the ABCC, this could just get completed for that. Yep.
The business is up and operating on a daily basis right now, anyway?
That's correct.
Anybody from the audience, any comments? Board members?
Mr. Chairman, so we have 3 motions: transfer of stock, new officers director, and new stockholder.
Yes. Correct.
Ready for a motion?
Look for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to grant the request of the Long Chong Garden, DBA Long Chong Garden, 47 Billings Road, Quincy, for a transfer of stock. This item was introduced at the September 19th meeting, hearing, and continued till this meeting, represented by Christopher Coleman.
Second?
Motion made and seconded to grant the request of Long Chong Garden, Inc., doing business as Long Chong Garden, 47 Billings Road, Quincy, for a transfer of stock, represented by Mr. Christopher Coleman. All in favor?
Aye.
New officer director motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to grant the request of Long Chong Garden, Inc., DBA Long Chong Garden, 47 Billings Road, for a new officer and director, represented by Mr. Christopher Coleman.
Second?
Motion made and seconded to grant the request of Long Chong Garden, Inc., doing business as Long Chong Garden, 47 Billings Road, Quincy, for a new officer and director, represented by Mr. Christopher Coleman. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to grant the request of Long Chong Garden, Inc., DBA Long Chong Garden, 47 Billings Road, for new stockholders, represented by Attorney Christopher Coleman.
Second?
Motion made and seconded to grant the request of Long Chong Garden, Inc., doing business as Long Chong Garden, 47 Billings Road, for a new stockholder. This is represented by Mr. Christopher Coleman. All in favor?
Aye.
You're all set?
Thanks, everybody.
You're welcome. Good luck.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to mention we're in the season of re-inspecting for liquor licenses, so for all of these, we will re-inspect in the coming months and for every other liquor licenses.
Okay, duly noted, Mr. Barrett. Is there anything else on the agenda? Is that- September 26, 2007, motion to waive the reading of the public.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The license board hearing for September 26th is now closed. Thank you.